So before we start with our fireworks lesson, we're starting with our big question. How do fireworks work? To tell you the truth, that's something I myself am not really sure about. So even the teacher's interested here. We're actually going to watch the Guess What Cambridge video in a moment. But before we do that, I'd like you to look at 5 possible stages of a video lesson. Just take a moment to read from the screen. Okay, as a teacher, I'm always short of time, and I'm sure you are too. So what I really love is a lesson plan or a procedure that's generic, that I can apply to a variety of material. And this basically is my little generic lesson plan procedure. Can you make a quick note of those steps before we watch the video? There's a blank copy on your material worksheet, so maybe you'd like to use that instead. I'd like you to watch the video and make a note of anything that you think you might use in these categories. Anything on the video that springs to mind and you think, this would be a nice visible thinking routine, or this would be a nice general understanding GIS task, or this would be a nice extension activity. Make sure you keep notes because this is actually part of our forum task for this module. Okay?
Guess what? Guess what? Guess what?
Hello again. Welcome back to Guess What? Today we're asking, how do fireworks work? First, let's look at different types of fireworks. These are rocket fireworks. They each have a wooden stick. They fly high in the air and make beautiful patterns in the sky, and loud sounds. This girl is holding a small firework called a sparkler. It makes a lot of bright lights. We can also hold this firework. It's bigger than a sparkler. It's called a Roman candle. This firework is called a Catherine wheel because it turns round and round very quickly. This long Chinese firework is called a cracker. It doesn't go in the air, but it makes very loud sounds. We must be careful when we hold fireworks so that we can have fun and be safe. Now listen to how fireworks work. Fireworks have gunpowder inside them, and they also have a fuse. When someone lights the fuse of a firework, gas from the gunpowder pushes the firework up into the air. When the firework is in the air, the gunpowder explodes and usually makes a loud sound. Fireworks have metal salts inside them too. The metal salts explode with the gunpowder. Different types of metal salts make different colours when they burn. Lithium makes a red light, copper makes a green light, and sodium makes a yellow light. Some fireworks have many different metal salts, so they make lots of different colours when the gunpowder explodes. Let's learn about some celebrations with fireworks. At New Year, many countries celebrate with fireworks. Look at the fireworks at this Chinese New Year celebration. These New Year fireworks are in Sydney, Australia. Listen to the people. They really like the fireworks. Some countries celebrate their special days with fireworks. Look at the words these fireworks make in this North American celebration. What do they say? This is a festival in Asia to celebrate fireworks. It's the International Fireworks Festival. What do you know? How do fireworks work? They have a fuse. They have gunpowder. They explode. Well done. Bye.
Okay, so we've watched the video and we've also thought a little bit about procedure while we were watching. What possible task could you do with your students for those 5 steps? I'm sure you have some very nice ideas, but I don't want to do feedback on this now. I'd rather hear what your ideas are in the forum. What I would like to do, however, is think about language. Remember, we can't just give tasks without scaffolding language. So I've got here in my right-hand column some possible language scaffolds, some possible language frames for each stage of the lesson. So if we're talking about procedure, the teacher might say, who can tell me words about? Let's learn some new words about in the video. For the introduction to the video, you might ask your big question. What do you think that the answer is? Well done. You've got very good ideas. And the same for the other 3 stages. Now, we can see here that the language is the teacher language, but obviously the teacher language is informed by the student's language. So here the teacher will be modelling. Look at step 3. Watch the video for specific or detailed understanding. I'll stop the video and ask you some questions. Describe the photos. What's happening here? The teacher's modelling the language. What can you see? Do you think it's which is the fastest, the slowest, the biggest, or the smallest? And in the extension activity, we've got the teacher's questions as well. We're moving again into the personal here. Are there any near our town? When do you do your family? So again, it's a little bit like the 3 whys, the first part of the 3 why, making the topic as personal as possible. So this is a frame for the teachers. But remember, the more we model good language for our students, the more they'll imitate it. I like this because I think it's a very generic little grid of information for the teacher. And I've applied it to many, many videos, not just authentic videos, but also special videos for CLIL, of which the Guess What series is one. And I can recommend it in terms of very, very interesting content and also easy tasks for the teacher to prepare. So, authentic materials. We talked about using authentic reading in the lesson, And also we can use authentic listening, why not? There are several advantages, but there are also some disadvantages. Well, the advantages are many: realistic, engaging, up-to-date, original, language in context. But there is a certain amount of unpredictability in a authentic listening. With an authentic reading, the teacher can adapt a little bit, but with authentic listening or authentic video, it can be slightly it's more difficult to doctor or to adjust, to adapt or grade the language. However, CLIL is a holistic approach to teaching. So if we only do some of our stages, why not? We won't find the perfect video maybe to deal with content and language, but we can do maybe the first 3 steps. We can activate some prior knowledge, we can introduce the video, and we can watch for general understanding, and then we can move on and do something else. So in this module, we've talked about making texts, audio and reading, manageable. We've looked at designing activities that focus on pre and while, but we haven't actually looked at many post listening or reading tasks. The reason for this is that we tend to use post listening and reading tasks more for assessment purposes, which we're going to look at in module 4. So if we go back to the aims of our module, this is what we've covered so far. As usual, we have our post-module task for you. Well, we have 2, as with all the modules. Let's have a quick look. I'm going to ask you to watch a video. Take a moment to look at the questions on the screen. As usual, we'd like you to share your ideas in the forum and comment on one of your colleagues' posts. Remember, it doesn't have to be a paragraph, it doesn't have to be a lesson plan, it can just be a few lines. Let's watch the video now. And while we're doing that, think about what pre, while, and post tasks could you design for your students. We can keep it very simple, but let's watch the video first. So, a very nice, simple task there. Watch the video and in the forum comment on any pre, during and post activities you might use. Teacher task 2 is also video based. I'd like you to look at your notes from the Guess What Fireworks video, the 5 procedure steps, and make another post in the forum, giving some of your task ideas. And as usual, make a comment on one of your colleagues' posts. Well, that's all for Module 3. I hope you found it interesting. See you in Module 4. Thank you.